Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Well. All right, it is time for me to finish up a series I've been doing over the course of the last few months. That is the best fragrances I have from a fragrance house. This is where I choose 2 fragrances as long as I have a minimum of 3 from each fragrance house and just choose my best 2. And again, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I just kind of went with whatever made me think is the best 2 at the time. I actually made the list for these fragrances a long time ago. So it's kind of funny. I'm looking at the list and picked out the ones that I have and I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I should change it. I said, nope, let's just go with what I went with at the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the series in this video. I was doing 5 houses equaling 10 fragrances. In the previous ones, we have 8 houses, which means I've got 16 fragrances for this video. So we need to go ahead and get right into it because otherwise this video is just going to go on forever. And I didn't want to have 3 houses for the last video. So I said, you know what, let's just go ahead and finish this out because I'm kind of tired of doing it. All right, so 16 fragrances, 8 houses represented it for the best fragrances you can get from the house series I've been doing. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And of course, I will have links for the fragrances down in the description below if you are curious about the fragrances. Let's get into it. All right, let's get started. Gotta try to be brief. First house we're gonna talk about is going to be Novitus Parfums. Full disclosure, the only fragrances I have from Novitus are 3 of the ones that were creatively directed by Bowtie, the fragrance guy, Darian Hill. The first one I have is Eau Debonaire. Novitus Parfums Eau Debonaire. I think this is the best one that he did out of the ones I've got my nose on. There's 2 others I believe he has. I've never smelled those, so I can't say that for sure. But this one here is a good floral aromatic scent. It uses a good amount of lavender. You get some lemony, or should I say some brighter citrus that makes me think of lemon. There's actually some really strong floral notes in this. There's a good amount of tuberose in here. I think there may be jasmine in here as well. It has a good amount of ambroxan and musky notes as well. And this is probably the first fragrance I ever got my nose on that made me not hate the tuberose. Again, tuberose is one of those floral notes that can really take over a fragrance. And I don't always like it in that way, but I've started to come around to tuberose even after I've got this scent. But yeah, I think this one's really nice, good daily wear. I definitely see it as a unisex fragrance because of that heavy use of tuberose, but leans slightly masculine. This is just a good floral dominant everyday wear fragrance in my opinion. So once again, from Novitus Parfums, this is Eau Debonaire. All right, next one's coming from Novitus Parfums is going to be Divine Aphrodisiac. Novitus Parfums, Divine Aphrodisiac. All right, now if you know anything about Bowtie the fragrance guy, he is a heavy gourmand lover. He really likes gourmand fragrances. So naturally, as in his words, he was going to creatively direct a gourmand scent. This fragrance here, 100% gourmand. It literally just smells like food. Some of the notes you're gonna get from this, you get peanut butter, you get sesame oil, you get some kind of jammy, fruity characteristics. It's also very nutty. It's very, very rich and dense. And to me, for whatever reason, it makes me think of a high-end peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't think that's actually a thing, but that's what it makes me think of because peanut butter and jelly is a pretty basic thing. This one smells like that, but more. So that's why I say high-end elevated, whatever that may look like. So this is the only fragrance I have that I think that uses a peanut butter note. I do know there are other fragrances that use sesame, but as far as I know, this is also the only fragrance I have that uses sesame to this degree. So yeah, this is just a heavy gourmand scent. I admit it's not something I wear all that much, but I do appreciate the artistry that was put into this fragrance. I do think it is very interesting that it has that peanut butter note. Once again, from Novitus Parfums, this is Divine Aphrodisiac. All right, next house feature is going to be Orto Parisi, a house that if you like big and bold fragrances, you would like this house. So first one is going to be Terroni. Orto Parisi, Terroni. So the best way to describe this scent is like a celebration of volcanoes. The fiery, ashy part of it, as well as what I perceive to be the soil that is that can come from lava flows. You know, lava, or should I say volcanic soil, can be extremely fertile, which is one of the reasons why A lot of civilizations, both past and present, settle around volcanoes because the soil is so freaking rich and you can really grow a lot of things from it. I think this fragrance here kind of represents that in the whole package. It's spicy, it's earthy, it's smoky, kind of has this resinous feel to it. It even kind of has this warm, dusty, creamy element to it, if that makes sense. The fragrance, doesn't come with notes. So you kind of just have to interpret it as it is. I feel like there could be like a pimento type of spice in this. Definitely some earthy resins though, for sure. I really enjoy the scent, and I think it is a well done artistic fragrance, and frankly a fall and autumn banger. I think this stuff smells awesome in that time of year. So once again, from Orto Parisi, this is Terroni. All right, the next one from Orto Parisi is going to be Bergamask. Again, this is Orto Parisi Bergamask. So this one is my favorite out of the bunch. To be fair, that whole dent there is not all me. I did decant some of this out for a friend who was curious about it, but I did have a little bit of a dent in it before I even did that. But this one here, more of a summertime staple. It's a play on bergamot and musk. I also get some woody characteristics from it. Very artificial bergamot. This does not smell like real bergamot or raw bergamot oil, in my opinion. Also with the muskiness, it's kind of a play on like actual deer musk, but as we know, that's not something that's actually used in perfumery anymore. So you get representations of it. Chemically dominant, should I say aroma chemical synthetics dominant fragrance. The house in general uses a lot of synthetics. It's part of the reasons they last so long, because they're using long-lasting synthetics that are very resistant to breaking down very fast. It's a bright and fresh fragrance with a little bit of a to it. It kind of punches you in the gut, compliment getter. So this one here is just an awesome warm weather fragrance from the house. So once again, from Orto Parisi, this is Bergamask. All right, guys, next fragrance house feature is going to be Parfums de Marly, and the first fragrance we're going to feature is Herod. Parfums de Marly, Herod. This is still one of the best creations they've ever come up with, in my opinion. It's one of the classics, one of the earlier releases from the house, and I originally hated it, but now I love it, so I don't have to go into that story again. The main thing you get from this is cinnamon, tobacco, and vanilla. There are definitely other elements here. You can pick up on some light floral notes. There's certainly some woods to support the scent. I do find it to be a little bit of a dirty tobacco fragrance, but in a way that is very palatable, if that makes sense. But yeah, you consider the upcoming autumn season, this fragrance here just is kind of the epitome of a great fall time or autumn fragrance, and I always want this in my collection. So once again, from Parfums de Marly, this is Herod. All right, the second one from Parfums de Marly is going to be Haltane. Parfums de Marly, Haltane. Another really well-liked, successful release from the house. Now, I don't find this one here to really be an original creation. I find it to be a derivative. Actually, the perfumer Jordi Fernandez, I think it's a derivative of one of his earlier pieces of work for the House of Whittian, which is Liwa, which I also own, but it does separate itself from it. The saffron, woody profile of this, dry wood, cedar, oud, mainly that combination is present in this, and it's also present in Liwa, but where Liwa uses a lot of florals to support that, this one is more aromatic notes like clary sage and lavender, and there's also a little bit of a warmer characteristic to the scent. It's not as brash as Liwa is, and it even kind of warms it up with like a praline kind of note, so a little bit of sweetness in there. But man, it smells really, really good. This fragrance also really great for the upcoming autumn season. Really nice piece of work here. Again, I don't really care that it's not an original creation. It is different from what I perceive to be the original creation enough to where it's a different wearing experience. So once again, from Parfums de Marly, this is Haltane. All right, next house we're going to go to is Prada, and both of these fragrances are from the same line. So we're going to start off with Prada L'Homme. Prada L'Homme, I guess Milano is a part of the name too. This here, kind of a legendary fragrance, to be honest, especially in Fragcom, with the clean, soapy, fresh, powdery iris that is here, that doesn't really have that makeup quality that you can get from a lot of designer-based iris fragrances. At least in my opinion, it doesn't. It's more of a fresh, sweet, soapy iris. There's amber notes in here to kind of aid in that sweetness that you get from this scent. Little bit of pepper kind of hanging in the background to provide just a dash of contrast. Prada L'Homme, I think, is one of the quintessential office type fragrances or everyday wear fragrances where you want to have a little bit of class to the scent DNA. I think Prada L'Homme really captures that perfectly. As you can see, there is quite a dent in this fragrance. I've had this for a very long time, long before I started making content. So it was something that I wore quite a bit when I didn't have as many choices to go to. And I can say if I had stopped collecting a long time ago, stopped adding stuff to my collection, I probably would have gone down a lot more of this. I really appreciate this fragrance. And look, I know Prada has the Luna Rossa line. There's some good fragrances there. Matter of fact, I only got 3 Pradas. The one I left out was Prada Luna Rossa Black. Great scent, but I don't think it has the usability of these Prada L'Homme fragrances. So once again, from Prada, this is L'Homme. Okay, I already mentioned that it's coming from the Prada L'Homme line, so the second one is going to be L'Homme Intense. Prada L'Homme Intense. It is really a shame that they discontinued this because for what you get out of the daily wear from Prada L'Homme, this one here is the evening / maybe cooler weather scent. So you get the fresh, powdery iris. Some of the soapy feel is kind of removed because the sweetness in this one is turned up quite a bit. Much more ambery. I think there's some tonka bean in here to provide more of the sweetness. And I already said the fresh soapy characteristic is kind of turned down. And I get just this dash of leather kind of hiding in there. I feel like sometimes when you get an iris scent, if it's used in a very rich way, it can almost come across as leather. Don't get me wrong, there's iris leather fragrances out there where the leather is much more noticeable, but I think it's more subtle in this one. Great scent, smells great. I've gotten compliments on this. It lasts all freaking day long. You would smell it and think like, yeah, you probably get some life out of it, but not all day. Well, whatever. This fragrance lasts all day. It is really a shame that they discontinued this, at least in the States. I don't know if it's discontinued overall, but as far as I know, you can still sometimes find bottles of this. So there's still plenty of stock out there. So once again, from Prada, this is L'Homme Intense. All right, guys, next house we're moving on to is going to be Roja Parfums. First one is Danger Parfum Pour Homme. Roja Parfums Danger Parfum Pour Homme. This one is recently discontinued. You might actually, I think I said in a previous video, might have even been the last video, that I think you could still find bottles of this. Unfortunately, I think people have bought them up, and that is a shame. So I'm sorry for featuring it. I said I was going to keep with the original list that I originally made. I made the list months ago. I'm just now getting around to actually recording the video for it. But that being said, this is one of my favorites. I was kind of struggling with this one in Burlington 1819. I decided to go with this one in terms of it being a favorite. Very basic thing you get from this scent, in my opinion. You get lemon, you get lavender, you get a spicy, woody accord. Spice, it's a blend of spices. Some things stick out, like maybe cumin. I feel like you get a little bit of a cinnamon type feel. With the woods, it's the same thing. You probably get cedar, maybe there's some sandalwood. Other woody notes just in general could be resins providing woody notes, maybe vetiver in here, but it all comes together to smell like that. It's a classy fragrance. It's my first Roja. My wife actually bought this for me, so it does have some sentimental value. But beyond all that, it smells really, really good. So once again, from Roja Parfums, this is Danger Parfum Pour Homme. All right, next one also coming from Roja. This is Isola Blu. Roja Parfums Isola Blu. Now, this one is my undeniable favorite right now. I love the citrus blending with lavender and woods in this scent. The citrus profile you get from this, lemon, grapefruit, maybe a little bit of lime. It's kind of a blend of citruses, but it does have kind of this hyper realistic smell to it. So I wouldn't call it photorealistic because when you smell lemon lime, it's not like as intense and rich as this. So I say hyper realistic because it does smell like lemon, lime, and grapefruit. So good. I really, really enjoy this fragrance. Great scent for the Florida weather in general. It has a classiness to it that I really appreciate in fragrances. This is something I would consider signature scent worthy, at least for me. It checks a lot of boxes for me in terms of usability, where I can use it for work and use it on a vacation. That's always going to be a fragrance that I think in terms of usability is going to get really high marks for me. So once again, from Roja Parfums, this is Isola Blu. All right, guys, next house featured is going to be Savoir Faire. Fantastic indie fragrance house where every fragrance I have from them except one has been a blind buy and none of them have missed. So the first one's going to be the Whiskey Rose. Again, this is Savoir Faire and this is the Whiskey Rose. The name is appropriate for this scent. I definitely get whiskey-like notes or boozy notes. I definitely get a very rich rose in here. Accompanying those two things, you get a really nice leather. You get some woody characteristics. You get some sweetness in there. Oh man, jammy, dense rose, really nice leather. Oh gosh, this fragrance here, I don't know, for whatever reason, anytime I'm going to a steakhouse, this one is almost like the top choice. I'm not saying I wear it every time, but it definitely gets consideration. You could wear it for some other stuff, but I don't know, for whatever reason, this fragrance just captures that vibe to me. Going out to somewhere that's a little bit more upscale. This one has a classiness to it. And also what I really like about this fragrance, once it dries down, there's a labdanum accord in here, which is kind of a spicy resin that is often used in amber accords. Oh man, it comes out and it is phenomenal. Really love this fragrance. Excellent job on this. So once again, from Savoir Faire, this is the Whiskey Rose. All right, next one coming from Savoir Faire is Lovesuede. Again, Savoir Faire, Lovesuede. Now, I really appreciate this fragrance because I feel like it gives me an alternative wearing experience to my favorite fragrance, Ganymede. Why is that? Well, first of all, it does have a little bit of a watery feel. It has this kind of dry woodiness to it and this slight mineralic quality to it. But again, it's different from Ganymede because with Ganymede, I think that fragrance just kind of speaks to me in terms of what it is as a scent. This one here is more of a vibe. The whole inspiration for the fragrance is riding up and down the Pacific coast with your shades on and a leather jacket. All of that is kind of captured in this fragrance. I've never even done that specifically, but I could see myself doing it and wearing this scent. Very classy scent. Man, it's just a whole vibe. Really great fragrance from the house. So once again, from Savoir Faire, this is Lovesuede. All right, guys, next house we're going to feature is Tom Ford. A house with, let's just call it, some pros and cons. First one is going to be Beau De Jour. Tom Ford Beau De Jour. I just have to say real quick, I heard from Sebastian, the perfume guy, that this might be getting discontinued. If it is, that is a shame. This fragrance was originally released in the private blend line. They brought it down to the signature line, made it a little bit more affordable, in Tom Ford standards, that is. And now maybe this is going away completely. That is a shame. This is a great modern day simplified aromatic fougere scent. You could think of it as a barbershop fragrance. Really strong lavender as the opening of this fragrance really kind of smacks you in the nose. And with that, you get notes like sandalwood and patchouli, a little bit of an ambery touch to it. I think that's the main thing that brings it into the modern era. A lot of people do compare this to Davidoff's Zeno, but I've never smelled Zeno, so I can't do the comparison. But they say it's basically the same style of scent, but I've also seen some people say that this is definitely a better version of it. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, I love this fragrance, but it is a shame if it is getting discontinued. But you know what? It is what it is. So once again, from Tom Ford, this is Beau De Jour. All right, so for my second one from Tom Ford, kind of struggled in terms of what I wanted to choose from this, but ultimately landed on this one here, and it is Tobacco Vanille. Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille. Two reasons I went with this. A lot of the things I, kind of considered when choosing these fragrances, how likely am I to wear them more often? Tobacco Vanille is one of them because it is a scent DNA that I really, really do appreciate. But also, I think just the historical significance of this one. Kind of think of the same thing with Herod for Parfums de Marly, a really successful earlier release from the house. I see Tobacco Vanille is the same thing for Tom Ford. So obviously, in the name, tobacco, vanilla is present 100%. Along with it, you get a lot of spice. You get this kind of dry fruits, almost boozy quality to it. And the fragrance is rich. It's kind of dense. It's kind of sticky. And it's an iconic scent DNA. That pretty much sums it up. It's a fragrance that I should have had a long time ago. I got my nose on this before I even decided I wanted to get a collection and said, hey, I actually wouldn't mind owning that. And then 2.5 years into me collecting, I finally bought it. I have no explanation for that, but you know what? I got it now, so we're all good. Once again, from Tom Ford, this is Tobacco Vanille. All right, and the final house we're going to feature is going to be Xerjoff. This one was also kind of difficult. One fragrance was an easy choice, needed to be on the list. The second one, it could have been swapped out, but ultimately, we're just going to go with what I chose at the time, and the first one is going to be Alexandria II. Again, Xerjoff Alexandria II. Iconic fragrance from the house. Great apple cinnamon kind of thing going on here, which is, let's just be real, it's present in a lot of fragrances, but I do feel like the way it's done in here is a little bit different from the crowd, so to speak. Really nice lavender in this scent, and then the base of it is going to be some oudi notes, some woody notes, really nice ambery notes, probably some vanillic type notes in here. I believe the oud in this is Laotian oud, if I'm not mistaken. From what I can deduce, which is my opinion, I don't know for sure, in here, that translates into kind of a green, fresh, woody oud, if that makes sense. Definitely doesn't have some of the funk you get from other forms of oud, which is why I think this fragrance is so popular and so palatable to a lot of people. So once again, from Xerjoff, this is Alexandria II. All right, and the second one from Xerjoff, and the final fragrance for this list, this is the one that was kind of a no-brainer for me. It's going to be 40 Knots. Xerjoff 40 Knots. Why was this a no-brainer? Number one, this is my most worn Xerjoff to date. I don't know if you guys can see the juice, but I think it normally is up to here. When it's full, it's down to here. So I've actually put a pretty decent dent in here considering how many fragrances I have and how often I change my scent choice. So anyway, 40 Knots is a play on Dior's Ombre Nuit, but it is its own thing. Think of it as the aquatic version, as I've heard some people say. I have to agree with them. There is a little bit of a watery, kind of air breezy thing going on with this scent. I do think it is sweeter than the original Ombre Nuit, so it's a little bit more ambery. It's kind of rich and dense. And honestly, I think you can wear this scent year round. You definitely can get compliments from this fragrance. It is a powerful scent. It's going to last all day. And you don't need a whole lot of sprays for this to do what it does, which is why this is a statement for me for it being that much of a dent in there, because I never feel like I have to spray this very heavily. Usually I go no more than 4 sprays for most wearing situations, but this is definitely a favorite of mine, and I know it's a favorite of a lot of you guys as well. So once again, from Xerjoff, this is 40 Knots. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Again, that was the conclusion of my Best of House series that I have been doing. If you would like to, let me know down in the comments below. If you've got any fragrances from any of these houses, what are some of your favorites from the houses if you've got multiple ones? Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.